Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. Today, I'm going to get to do something that I never thought I would actually get to do, and that is debunking the most famous Bigfoot uh, film in history. For those unaware, the Patterson Gimlin film is the most famous Bigfoot evidence ever, or we should say alleged evidence or so called evidence ever. Um, this isn't live, Tim. Uh, you see that little thing that says live on the screen? It should, right? Doesn't it? I don't know. So Patterson Gimlin footage is really it is footage that has spawned an entire industry of Bigfoot enthusiasts, Bigfoot books, Bigfoot movies, Bigfoot documentaries, Bigfoot conventions. And for many years now, there has been staunch debate between believers and skeptics about whether the footage was genuine or just a clever hoax. Most of me has always thought that the iconic film footage was a little too good to be true, essentially because the people who captured it just happened to get lucky on their first major outing hunting Bigfoot and get this incredible footage. Now, there's some things about the footage that made me wonder, however, throughout the years, principally of which is the boobies. Yes, the film, which was later sort of called the Patty film, depicted a female Bigfoot. How do we know it was female? Because the Bigfoot had big old titties in the film. You see the titties swaying back and forth. That had always been something that bothered me because part of me said, I don't think a hoaxer would put boobies on a Bigfoot suit. Like, why would you do that, right? But then another part of me thought, no, that's a super duper prover maneuver. That's a way to prove that this can't be a hoax. There's no gorilla suits with big boobies flapping in front of, I always thought it could be a clever addition. And throughout the years, there have been various guests who said, yes, it was just, I was the guy in the suit. So what we get is really just an impasse for all these years now. After all the film was released, what was it? It was filmed in 1967, so that's 59 years. And like I said, an entire industry had been built off of this film. I found on YouTube an unedited version. Oh, and it's important to note that the people who created the film and their family have collectively made millions of dollars in licensing this little bit of footage out to Bigfoot documentaries or, whatever. They charge a licensing fee. There was a time where I think you couldn't post on YouTube or you would get copyright claimed and they would take your ad revenue. I don't know if that's still the case. So we're risking my, $27 in ad revenue to play you the footage. But I think it's important, and this is fair use. It's a transformative work. We're educating the public. We're critiquing the video, and then we're going to give you a full breakdown of how it was just debunked, and it's quite an interesting story. But the short version is that after all of this time, someone located some film stock, original 16 millimeter Kodachrome film, which not coincidentally is what the original film released in 1967 was also filmed on. So essentially, a documentary filmmaker, in researching things, somehow came across a person who found basically their rehearsal footage. And the rehearsal footage of the famous footage basically shows the same exact creature, a person in a suit, at a different location walking through the woods. It's almost as if they had a trial run to create the hoax, but thought better of it. And then perhaps 1 year later, they created the famous iconic film. So I've just posted a goal for today as well, just to let everybody know we're a viewer supported show. I'll be reading every single super chat, thanking every single supporter, whether you support us on Kick or on YouTube through super chats, super stickers, gifting memberships, whatever way you choose to support. We choose to thank every single one of you. We'll read every one. People are arguing in the live chat about whether Bigfoot is real or not. Listen, I'm a huge fan. Oh, and I just want to put this on the record before we continue. I'm a huge fan of Bigfoot. I meant to bring it. I have a Bigfoot mug downstairs, a couple of them. One of them says Bigfoot stole my wiener, and it has a Bigfoot stealing a hot dog from a campfire. My cabin, I have a Sasquatch head on the very door of my cabin. I have some Sasquatch statues, like garden statues and other things. And I'll see if I can't locate it. But I have one of the greatest Bigfoot costumes ever created that I built myself. It had leg and arm extensions, and it made me, I'm about 6 feet tall, it made me like 9 feet, 8.5, 9 feet tall. I'll see if I can't locate that photo. And also, if you're interested in Bigfoot, and especially debunking Bigfoot bullshit, check out our free documentary section or the description of this video. I put the link to our Bigfoot, Is This the Face of Bigfoot? Free documentary in the description of this video or podcast. So interestingly, this footage has been hotly debated for so long. And just give me a moment here. We're going to, oh, that's great. Oh, it's not going to let me show it big. So let me try this another way to share it. That's interesting. Gotta love Google Drive processing. One moment here. Let me see if I can just refresh. And by the way, we'll be citing fair use. Oh, I got it. We'll be citing fair use. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public about the recent discovery that this famous footage is a complete and total hoax. Provably. Now, the documentary features the rehearsal footage, and everybody that I've talked to, well, a few people, and there's a video that I'll be sharing from one gentleman who saw the footage, was completely and totally convinced it's the same costume. It's 100% the Patty Bigfoot in another location. So, one moment here. Let me put up my fair use banner, and we will begin. First, we're going to share the iconic footage. Everybody has seen this, but I found a sort of rare, unedited version that I think is important, just for context, so we know what footage we're talking about. If you've seen any Bigfoot documentary, if you've watched Finding Bigfoot on the History Channel or all the History Channel documentaries, they all play this footage. It's the most famous Bigfoot footage ever. And I always thought it was a little funny that since 1967, we haven't gotten better, clearer footage. No, not really. Not really. So here is the footage. Remember, this is in Bluff Creek, where Patterson and Gimlin were hunting for Bigfoot because there was Bigfoot tracks and Bigfoot sightings allegedly in the area when they started hunting for Bigfoot. And it's interesting to note that Patterson was a bit of a con artist, borrowing money to make a documentary film about Bigfoot. And wouldn't you know it, his first outing, which we now know wasn't his first outing, he just happens to catch the iconic creature on video. Let me turn this down. Somebody added like a film effects sound effect, which I don't think we need. So this is a rare, unedited version. Most of the versions that you will see are edited. And people zoom in and zoom out. It's also interesting to note that For years, people have made stupid, what I thought were stupid arguments, like, well, you see musculature through the legs, so this couldn't be a suit. Or you see the tendons move in the feet, so it couldn't be a suit. Or no human can walk that way, or no human can fit in a suit like that. Principally among them was Bigfoot profiteer Jeff Meldrum, who happened to be a college professor outside of being a Bigfoot scammer. I once asked him for an interview, and he wanted $5,000 to give me an interview. And that was for our "Is This the Face of Bigfoot" documentary. Jeff Meldrum was a scumbag, in my opinion, not to speak ill of the dead. I think he's passed away several years ago. But he's in this new documentary film that proves that this is all a hoax. And he was one of the biggest supporters of this film being a genuine creature. So he didn't live to see how wrong he was. Well, maybe he did, because he got to see the rehearsal footage. So we're getting to the money shot. There's only like 10 or 20 seconds of the actual Bigfoot creature video, and the rest here seems to be sort of B-roll, right? And if you'll forgive me, I'm going to make that a little smaller to prevent copyright claims if possible. And this, of course, is the iconic Bluff Creek, where this alleged sighting took place, which we now know was just a nice wilderness backdrop for a hoax, right? And here we're getting closer to the money shot. This film has been the most studied piece of Bigfoot footage ever, probably. The most scrutinized, the most promoted as being possibly real, and more. I always thought Occam's razor, guy in a suit, at least most of me did. But, I would like to believe that Bigfoot is real. But do I really think that there's a living, breathing, 8 foot tall, hairy man out in the forest? Not really. Where my cabin is in Pennsylvania, there's tons of Bigfoot sightings, but it's interesting that Bigfoot sightings and high occurrences of them often correlate with high populations of black bears. I myself once saw a black bear scratching his. Oh, here we go. Here's the money shot. It's going to walk across the clearing. There we go. There's the creature. Come on, zoom in, dude. Shaky camera. Again, this is the unedited version, so forgive me. We'll make it big here. And there's the iconic look back. Creature looks back at the filmer and continues walking through. Still images from this film have been on magazine covers and book covers, and it's really an iconic film, even if it is fake, I suppose. So there's the creature walking off into the woods. Well, the hoaxer, I suppose. So that's the first thing I wanted to share with you, just so that we have some context. But next I'm going to share there's always a little issue of looking like a dude in an effing suit. Yeah, listen, I'm going to try to find a picture of it. I have it on my old Facebook. I got to find it. Steve, I have a Bigfoot suit that's so much better than this because I really put a lot of time and energy into it. And it was modeled after, if anybody's a comic book fan, there's a superhero group from Canada called Omega Flight or Alpha Flight. And there's a creature just called Sasquatch. It's a guy who turns into a big Sasquatch. I modeled mine after the comic book Sasquatch. And interestingly, there's a comic book place near my house, and they had me come out with the suit. I'm going to see if I can't find it. But interestingly, this documentary that just came out debunking this whole thing is fake confirms the story of the gentleman who said he was the guy in the suit. Because we get to hear from the family members of Patterson and Gimlin, including the son Clint, who admit that his mother told him essentially, yeah, it's totally fake, and that's this guy was in a suit, and she didn't know what happened to the suit, but she basically told her son to keep his mouth shut because they've made millions of dollars from licensing the film to various for-profit enterprises. So let me do this. There is a Bigfoot film hoax solved. And this is in 2005, somebody claimed that they solved the hoax, but we never did quite. It's kind of like UFOs. It gets kind of debunked, you know? Okay, we've got a guy who said he was the guy in the suit, and he wore this suit, and he passed the lie detector tests when they asked him, were you the guy in the suit in the famous iconic footage? He said yes, and he passed the polygraph. Actually, I think he's passed several polygraphs now. So it's interesting that this new documentary confirms the gentleman in the suit story. An interesting side note, he was promised $1,000 to help them create the hoax. He was never paid the $1,000. That's why he decided to rat on Patterson and Gimlin. All right, let's, again, we're citing fair use. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public and critiquing the video we are sharing.
In film, you can identify that there is an upright walking biped in that film that has arms and legs. In terms of the limb ratios, the speed, the stride length, nothing can be determined from that film. There's not enough data in it.
And I agree with that. And people like Jeff Meldrum and other Bigfoot promoters have tried to recreate the footage and argue that it couldn't be a guy in a suit. I really wish Jeff Meldrum was around so we could get his comment, because he made more money promoting this film as real than maybe anybody on all these different documentaries, you know.
And to make claims otherwise isn't scientifically valid.
Yeah, I guess this guy's taking a shot at the number of people who have made these stupid claims. You know, there was all kinds of claims. Oh, no, you could see the shoulder muscles ripple and move. So it couldn't be a guy in a suit because you couldn't do that with a guy in a monk. Okay.
It's time to go back to the source, Washington's Cascade Mountains, where the Bigfoot filmmakers grew up. If the Patterson film is a hoax, there are 3 witnesses. One, Roger Patterson, is dead. The second, Bob Gimlin, isn't talking. So the question is, what about the guy in the suit? Several people have come forward over the years to claim that particular honor. We're here to meet Bob Heronomous, who was a young...
So Bob Heronomous was confirmed in the new documentary to be the guy in the suit, but not in the rehearsal footage, only in the famous footage. There's somebody else in this newly unearthed rehearsal footage for the film.
Young man used to ride with Patterson and Gimlin. Bob claims that back in '67, he was the guy who strode across Bluff Creek in Patterson's Bigfoot suit. Around here, there are a lot of people who will back Bob's story up.
Look at him walking here. This is a great little piece of this piece from the History Channel. They just told him to walk in front of the camera, but look at the walk and think about that iconic Bigfoot walk.
And well, there's that walk.
And there's the turn and
look.
look.
I walk like Bigfoot anyway.
To his friends, Bob's Bigfoot role is old news.
I've heard a lot of people say, you know, can you believe that old Bob was really Bigfoot? You know, that was a lot of people say that, you know.
Bob says his secret wasn't much of a secret around here.
Yeah, so a lot of the people in this guy's town kind of knew about the hoax because he started ratting on these guys because they never paid him the $1,000. So here is a lesson for hoaxers. Pay the people what you promised them, or don't expect them to keep their mouth shut, right?
Concern always was that somebody's going to shoot you, you know.
That was my big concern wearing the suit.
That was my big concern all the time.
Everybody around here, you know, after a few years knew that was me.
Oh, yeah. We knew.
We all just kind of, everybody just kind of kept it quiet.
Exactly, you're right.
According to Bob, Roger Patterson approached him in
Very
the fall of
profitable.
1967 with an offer that was too good to pass up.
He wanted a pretty good sized guy, you know, somebody that they could trust to wear this Bigfoot suit. They said, we'll pay you $1,000 and it'll only take about 10 minutes. So I was 26 years old at the time. I jumped on it, you know.
After a trial run in Yakima,
You mean
Bob
Travis
says they
Walton's
all shook
story?
hands and agreed to rendezvous
That
in
fell apart
California
this
in a
week,
few
too.
weeks' time. They met up in Bluff Creek, home of the infamous Wallace tracks and many Bigfoot sightings.
Yeah,
next
and the
morning we
missing
got up and they
people
made
in
coffee and
missing 411 as well.
saddled up the horses, put the
I'm going to
the
check in
Bigfoot
with
suit
Kick
on the
Chat.
back of
Welcome, Kick Chatters.
one of the horses. We went about, seemed like about a half a mile
And we'll
from where
share
they were
our
camped
live chat
up
here.
into this place where they had picked out before I got there to film the Bigfoot film. We unloaded the suit, and of course they helped me in it. It was in October, you know, and I figured it'd probably be hunters. Most people go to the mountains have a gun, you know. You know, it was so hot inside that suit, and the sweat was
Yeah,
just
the new
rolling off
documentary
me.
just
I was
debuted
nervous,
at film
you know,
festivals. It's not out
a little
yet.
bit claustrophobic. Roger told me to go over to this certain place and stand there. I got out there and waited, and he gave me the signal. He was sitting on one of my horse that he took down there, and so he took the camera and kind of went like that. You know, as you can see, the film is shaky. I started walking out across there, and I walked, I don't know how many yards it was, and I turned, you know, the old Bigfoot look and looked at him and went on. All this time, you know, waiting for a bullet to crack through my butt.
Western documentary, yeah.
That was the end of it.
Good job.
I thought I'd done a pretty good job. Millions of people have been fooled all these years. If they would have paid me the $1,000 like they promised, I would have kept my mouth shut.
Of course, there's no hard evidence to prove Bob's story either. The suit hasn't turned up. What it boils down to is, was Roger Patterson incredibly lucky or a hoaxer of extraordinary gifts? And in the end, experts on both sides of the equation agree. You certainly can't prove Bigfoot's existence.
And there you have it. So that is Bob Heronomous, who claimed that he was in the suit, and he passed at least one I'm aware of, maybe several lie detector tests that he was telling the truth, that he was the guy in the suit. It was him all this time. Yes. So even before this documentary, part of the story being a hoax was out there, but believers would come up with excuses, much like they do in UFO land, to explain away. You know, I've heard people say it couldn't be a guy in a suit for various reasons. And we're going to do a quick show tonight, I suppose. Oh, you know what? Let's share this tab. This is from People Magazine. I didn't even know People Magazine was still in existence. I haven't seen this in a while. So this is the article. The famed 1967 Bigfoot film was an incredible hoax, says the director of a groundbreaking new documentary. The new documentary capturing Bigfoot, and by the way, people have asked, it's not out yet, it just debuted at film festivals, offers some startling new revelations behind the story of Sasquatch, thanks to film footage locked away in a safe for decades. Documentary filmmaker Mark Evans had a hunch that one day he might tackle the topic of Bigfoot, but he had no idea that he'd end up creating a film that would end up debunking the mystery linked to the creature that's lasted for 59 years. The groundbreaking documentary capturing Bigfoot, which premieres this week at 2026 SXSW Film and TV Festival, provides startling new evidence, he says, that finally proves that the most famous Bigfoot film of all time is nothing more than an incredible hoax. Long held up as evidence that Bigfoot exists and responsible for launching the multi-million-dollar Bigfoot industry, the iconic shaky 59-second silent clip that was shot in 1967 shows an enormous hairy creature, later nicknamed Patty, walking slowly through a wooded area in a forest near Bluff Creek, California. It really captured the imagination of billions of people over the past 6 decades, says Evans. And of course, not only did they get the film, but they got casts of footprints that they claim was further proof that the creature was a real organic creature. I suppose they hoaxed those as well. I used to have a pair of sort of like hoax shoes, I guess you could call them, made out of plywood, where you could walk in mud and it made these Bigfoot like prints. So not too difficult to make those. So I don't think anything like this is proof of a real creature. Shot by former rodeo star named Roger Patterson and his pal Robert Gimlin, the Patterson-Gimlin film had for decades been scrutinized by biologists, anthropologists, and even Hollywood costume examiners looking to debunk its authenticity. Over the years, no one had been able to definitively prove that the 16-millimeter movie was staged. All that began to change in June 2024 when Evans, who has directed a handful of critically acclaimed documentaries, received an email from a part-time instructor named Teresa Brooks at Olympia College, where she teaches courses in documentary filmmaking. After her father's death, says Evans, 43, she'd found a canister of 16-millimeter film that had been sealed away for over half a century. She needed help getting it developed and wondered if I might be interested in doing something with it. Little did Evans know that he had just been handed to him and its possible connection to the famed 1967 film. But we soon learned that Brooks' father, a man named Norm Johnson, who spent years running the film department of Seattle's Boeing company, was connected to Patterson and Gimlin through his brother Dave. And it quickly became clear to Evans that Teresa's father had developed the Patterson-Gimlin film, which immediately made headlines around the world after the footage was released in 1967. It caught fire right away, says Evans. As somebody said in our film, it went viral before the word even existed. Brooks told Evans that the reason the film had been locked away in a safe is because her mother had feared that her husband might have been involved with a short movie that she was convinced was probably a hoax. She was concerned, said Evans, that Norm might get in trouble for being involved with it, and told him to put it away, any evidence of his involvement, and never speak about it again. Not long after receiving Brooks' email, Evans finally had the 16-millimeter film developed, and days later found himself looking at a 40-second clip set in a location similar to the one in the 1967 movie, showing what appeared to be a slightly skinnier-looking Bigfoot walking into the woods. It took me maybe 9 months to realize what we really had, said Evans, who was able to determine by markings on the film that the footage had been shot in 1966, roughly a year before the now famous clip in the 59-second Bigfoot movie was allegedly shot. What we eventually found out is that this new footage represented a trial run, a rehearsal that was never discarded. Realizing that he had physical evidence that finally put to rest the question of whether Patterson's creation was a hoax, Evans knew that he had the makings for an explosive documentary. He quickly went to work, he says, connecting the dots behind the making of the 1967 film and interviewing a cast of characters in Patterson's hometown of Yakima, Washington, who were involved in its creation, including 80-something-year-old Bob Heronomous, who confessed to being the individual wearing the fake Bigfoot suit in the film. Evans, whose father had grown up in Yakima and had plenty of gossip among locals about the film's authenticity, assumed that the family of Roger Patterson, who died of Hodgkin's lymphoma in 1972, would, as they always had, refuse to speak about the film, which had generated millions of dollars in licensing fees over the years. There's that profit-driven motive, right? Keep the hoax going. But once Evans showed the new footage to Patterson's oldest son, Clint, a 66-year-old Montana rancher, he was eager to talk. He'd learned the film was a fake. This is Patterson's son, Clint, saying this. He'd learned the film was fake from his mother years earlier and had been wanting to come out and tell his story, says Evans. The lie had been really hard on him, and he was ready and waiting to get out from under it. What makes the story even more complicated and tragic, says Evans, is that Patterson, who by all accounts truly believed in Bigfoot's existence, knew that he was dying in 1967 when he made and released this film. He knew he didn't have long to live, and he was going to be leaving his wife and three young kids to take care of. So again, there's a financial motive. Evans said, so he took a shot at leaving some sort of legacy that could possibly help pay the bills. The only piece of mystery still unresolved is what happened to the Bigfoot suit that Patterson had painstakingly created. Clint told me that he actually saw his dad burn the suit out behind the family house one night in a big barrel, says Evans. He basically spent about 30 minutes tossing it into the fire, piece by piece. Asked if he believes his documentary will finally force people to admit that Bigfoot is nothing more than a mixture of folklore, misidentified animal sightings, and deliberate hoaxes, Evans isn't optimistic. I certainly wasn't some skeptic who set out to prove Bigfoot wasn't real, he says. We were just focused on telling this story about the Patterson film. But I think for a lot of people who have so much history and belief tied up in it, it's going to be really hard to accept. So there you have it. The story of the Patterson Gimlin film coming crashing down. One moment here. And I myself have not seen the film. Ordinarily, I would wait, but we want to jump on these things, try to grab that YouTube algorithm while we can. I have one more thing to share, and that is someone. Oh no, I'm sorry. I have something else to share here as well. Let me get over to my Twitter. So the rehearsal footage is very. You're not going to get the rehearsal footage until the documentary is public, apparently. But I believe that the filmmaker included a still of it in one of his promos, which I will share with you. And so that may be how we can get a glimpse of this rehearsal footage before the actual documentary comes out. Again, this is all breaking in the last couple of days. So one moment here. This is the promo, and I'm going to have to be quick to grab this still when we see this. We're going to see a piece of the rehearsal footage in this promo for the film. The money shot in 1967, 59 seconds of footage was captured in the woods of Northern California. Oh, there we go. So on the top, I believe, is the original iconic footage. And on the bottom is the rehearsal footage. Looks like the same suit. Looks like the same suit. We get a better image of it here. Oh, let me try to grab that again. There we go. There is a still from, I believe this is a still image from the rehearsal footage showing a slightly skinnier Bigfoot, but still, that's the Patty suit, or it appears to me that this is the Patty suit, right? All right. Big legend, big mystery, big discovery. Bigfoot
has to change everything.
This is the name of the film, Capturing Bigfoot. And I, for one, will be certainly purchasing this when it comes out. This filmmaker did an incredible job. And how lucky was he to come across somebody that was involved in developing the original hoax film that also apparently developed their rehearsal footage. That is what you should, I guess you could call this, is rehearsal footage. So I have one more video to share. Like I said, we're going to call it a quick one tonight, and maybe we'll also dive in, since this is hoaxes, long believed hoaxes being destroyed this week. We'll also one moment here. Oh, people are arguing with me. Not enough info in the film to show if a man not the size Stride is made by one guy in 2005. Sure, there was then, and this guy's CGI recreates what could have been done in 2005. Same tech, really shows the scale and reality of the location. Lazy Cowboy YouTubes. Okay, yeah, maybe we'll look into that. Thank you, Larry Rosenthal. So I have not seen the footage the documentary. And ordinarily I would wait, but like I said, this is kind of breaking news. And I don't know. I grew up with that Patterson Gimlin image, right? It's in a bunch of books I had when I was a kid. Um, it's in every documentary. I watched all the History Channel, like when they tried to recreate the footage with a guy in a suit, when they had anatomy experts saying it couldn't be a guy in the suit, and Jeff Meldrum and the other UFO profiteers, right? Uh, yeah, so definitively, this new documentary kind of destroys this whole hoax as exactly what it is. We've got the son of the hoaxer admitting it was a hoax, witnessing his father burning the suit in a barrel after the film was released, and also, the admission that his mother told him that it was a hoax. And we've also got Bob Heronomous passing a lie detector saying, I was the guy in the Bigfoot iconic footage. And interestingly, what we get also is sort of a mending of fences, because Clint Patterson, the son of Roger Patterson, the original hoaxer, wanted to bury the hatchet with Bob Heronomous because there's all, I guess, ill feelings. After all, the guy never got paid. And Clint Patterson decided to pay him, after all these years, pay Bob Heronomous $1,000. And at first he didn't want to take it, but he took it and they buried the hatchet. And they're all friendly now. I want to take a moment to thank Tim Curley for a kind and generous $5 super chat, one for the goal. Yes, great show, Stephen. I'm always a sucker for a good old-fashioned cryptid conversation. Well, I love Bigfoot, but honestly, I probably have had 100 or more people email me Bigfoot stories that want to come on the show and tell their Bigfoot stories. Some of them have blurry pictures that look like nothing. And except for doing that documentary on Todd Standing, we've rarely covered Bigfoot. We did do the hairy man of Alaska story because it was creepy. So we've rarely covered Bigfoot. As much as I love Bigfoot, I don't want to waste my time hearing Bigfoot stories unless somebody has really good evidence, and there is no really good evidence. There's bad hoaxes mostly. I still am on a bunch of Bigfoot Facebook groups, and I look at the photos and it's just a form of stupid entertainment. But thank you, Tim Curley, one for the goal, the first of the night, light night on support. We'll check in with the kick chat as well. We've got Anti-Annihilator 5000 just resubscribed on Kick, and we've got Here for Hannah Claire just resubscribed on Kick, and they've been subscribed for 4 months. And yesterday we had Censored Crab with a bunch of full sends, so we're getting more Kick support tonight than YouTube support. What is going on? Right? For once, the YouTube people are the brokies here, right? Yes, I'm going to talk about the new Travis Walton revelations. Yes, we've got some time. I severely underestimated how long this was going to take to get through. We're only 38 minutes in. I've got a 30-minute video, though, next, which is from, and by the way, all the links to the videos I've shared are in the description of this video or podcast. There's a video titled, I Saw the Footage, It's a Hoax. And let me just do something real quick. It's in the link it's in the description. So this gentleman has a YouTube channel, and he went to the film festival and he saw the documentary film, and he was kind of blown away. And his channel is called Hairy Man Road. And the video that we're going to share of his take on the new documentary is called I Saw the Footage, It's a Hoax. And we're going to cite fair use. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public and critiquing the video that we are sharing. One moment here. Let's get that here. All right. And like I said, I apologize because I haven't seen it, but I have watched 4 or 5 videos of people who have seen this footage, and they all appear, everybody that sees this documentary is totally convinced this is case closed. The Patterson Gimlin film, the iconic Bigfoot film, is a hoax. That's one way to start a video. He looks rattled.
Hey everyone, it's Eric with Hairy Man Road here. I just got out of the premiere of Capturing Sasquatch.
Hairy Man Road, I guess he's got a Bigfoot channel.
If you guys don't know what that is the new documentary.
And again, this is fair use.
That has some incredible footage that was recently released. It had been hidden in a safe for over 60 years.
Yeah, totally realistic tits. Yeah.
Without a doubt shows the Patterson Gimlin footage to be a hoax. I never thought I would say that with 100% conviction, but it's a fact. The Patterson Gimlin footage, after seeing the release of this new footage in this documentary capturing Bigfoot, I can confidently say 100% wholeheartedly, the Patterson Gimlin footage is a verified hoax.
Nice.
It's
good to be able to put it to rest, though, right?
My head is kind of swimming right now. It's late.
No, for sure.
Midnight.
It's a hoax.
I don't think I'm going to get any sleep tonight. Just after what I've seen, I have been answering messages like crazy. My feed has been going off with all types of speculations for people who haven't seen the footage, trashing the directors, trashing the people that are
people aren't happy.
All without seeing the footage. And it's disheartening for people to jump to conclusions like that.
Yeah, why attack the
It's
director?
understandable in the Bigfoot community.
Yes, absolutely.
And I guess I'll just go over what I saw in the documentary.
He did, yeah. He
Pretty
pulled off the
shocking.
biggest prank
I'm
of
not
all
gonna lie,
times
it's very
besides the
shocking.
Bible.
The documentary starts out with a familiar face, Jeff Meldrum, the late Jeff Meldrum. It was very interesting to see him pop up right away as the very first Bigfoot personality we see in the documentary.
Bigfoot personality.
And he goes on to explain his involvement in the Bigfoot subject and you know, things like that, what he's done in the subject and how he got involved, and pretty much his little bio about what he thought about the Patterson footage. It showed a clip of him or a picture of him when he was just a young boy. He had attended a viewing at an area near him in like a gymnasium or something like that. But that was the very first segment of the documentary, and the documentary follows the story of Clint Patterson. Roger Patterson's the youngest son,
oldest son,
and how he has been trying to break this story wide open for, I think he said like 6 years, maybe 8 years, something like that.
And good news, I found my Bigfoot suit photos.
And ever since then, he's had issues with a lot of people, even a lot of people, unfortunately, in his family. And the documentary really touches on.
They wanted to, his family, including his mother, wanted him to keep his mouth shut because they've made millions of dollars from licensing of this film.
The relationship he has with the people surrounding the footage, including his own mother, which they mentioned in the documentary he was estranged from after he told her that he was going to come forward saying that it was a hoax. And he does mention a little story at the very beginning about when his mom was like in the living room or something, just smoking cigarettes. And he sits down and talks with her, and she tells him that Bob Heronomous, of all people, was in the Patty suit in the famous footage. This is from Clint Patterson. He got it from his mother.
So the mother admits that Bob Heronomous was the guy in the suit. And again, he passed a lie detector test when asked. They put him on a lie detector when he made the claims about being the guy in the suit. And he passed the lie detector. Now we have a second confirmation that, yes, Bob Heronomous was the guy in the suit. from Roger Patterson's wife and son.
Patricia Patterson. And that's just
Interesting that the guy's wife name was Patty, and they named the Bigfoot creature Patty.
the beginning of the documentary, really. One of the best documentaries, I'm not even taking into the Bigfoot subject, one of the best documentaries I've seen, period. I had a bunch of questions going into it, and they answered every single one of my questions that I had easily. And all the players are involved, all the people that you know. I'm trying to get the words together because I'm really just kind of
This guy seems
in
rattled.
shock.
You know, when I
about seeing-
heard about this, I was kind of shocked myself because, you know, this has been a mystery for all these years, my entire life, and then some. You know, so I just assumed that, you know, this was filmed before I was born. I just assumed it's been such an iconic mystery my whole life. And again, there have been people that come along and debunk it. And there have been people that come along and say it can't be debunked. It can't be a guy in a suit. You know, people have argued back and forth, kind of like a typical UFO case where you can't really prove it's real, but you can't really prove it's fake for decades now. So it is kind of shocking that now the nail is in the coffin. This is a hoax. And everybody I know that has seen this documentary has come away saying the same thing. This film definitively proves this is a hoax.
this. I never thought in the 60 years of the existence of the Patterson Gimlin footage that this would ever happen. It would get debunked like this, but
Yeah, I never thought it would be debunked, not this definitively. And Duco Duos, Alpha Ralpha, has gifted 1 True Seekers membership. And this is where I give my spiel about how you have to smash that subscribe button. It's a huge boost to our channel, first of all. And second of all, you could win a free gifted membership when a kind and generous person and supporter of the show, also a member, Duco Duos, gifts a membership. You could win one, but you must be in the live chat and you must be a subscriber to the channel, but not yet a channel member here. Then you could win a free channel membership thanks to the kindness, generosity, and support of people like Duco Duos. Thank you for that. Much, much appreciated. Duco Duos, big show support tonight.
that's exactly what happened. And they go into, I believe it's Greg Long's collection of audio tapes that he had from all his interviews he did with people like Roger Patterson, Bob Gimlin, and
Yeah, this documentary filmmaker really got a lot of archival footage to include little pieces in his documentary. I can't wait to see this.
Bob Heronomous as well. And they were not easy to come by. A lot of these audio tapes he had to call multiple times to see if they would be even willing to get on the phone or get on a recording.
Yeah, the cryptid
With
experts
Greg
are all going to be
and,
scrambling. Yeah, that's the best footage they've ever
He has
had.
an incredible collection.
And now we know it's all
One
fake.
of the
and that's what
voices that
started
stood
it all.
out to me watching the documentary was the voice of Al Diatley. And in the course of this documentary, I honestly, my opinion of him, he's like a supervillain. In this documentary, he kind of comes off as a really not a nice person. Yeah.
Oh, a promoter of paranormal being slimy? Say it ain't so. Katie Death Squad with 1 for the goal and putting a smile on my face with a funny comment, because I agree with this totally. Don't know why people say Bigfoot isn't real. I used to see it all the time at monster truck shows. Yeah, my dad used to take me to see the Bigfoot at monster truck shows. Yeah, they would have, Bigfoot, the monster truck is real. I don't know so much, Caney Death Squad, about the Bigfoot or Sasquatch creature, but yeah, there's definitely a monster truck named Bigfoot that you can see at the monster truck shows, and I think you still can, right? They just build new ones after they wreck one, you know? Those things don't last very long, but thank you, Caney Death Squad, 1 for the goal. Support is slowly picking up. Slowly picking up. So we are now just over the kick support amount. So I guess the kick people are the brokies now. Thank you, Caney Death Squad, for kindness, generosity, and support of the show. Much, much appreciated.
And he was Roger Patterson's brother-in-law. Many people know that. And his business, which was a paving business, I believe, was in a lot of financial trouble.
Yeah, imagine that.
And
Just like bankrupt Bob
the
Lazar.
reason behind the Patterson footage creation or existence is because Al Diatley had agreed to help Roger Patterson with this mission. And there are tapes that are played in the documentary where he's basically saying, I don't give an F about Bigfoot. All
Yeah, Bob
Patterson's
Gimlin is
family
still
wanted to do
around.
is talk about cowboy shit. I could care less.
Yeah,
Just didn't
and
really
Bob Gimlin was going to come clean in the film, and apparently his wife wouldn't let him. She's afraid that he's going to get in trouble for hoaxing this because they have collectively, between the Patterson and Gimlin families, they've collectively made millions of dollars on this film. So the wife stepped in at the last minute and kiboshed him giving an interview in this documentary and owning up to the hoax. But I think before he dies, he should own up to the hoax. It's one of the greatest practical jokes ever, right? If you think about it, a practical joke that lasted 60 years.
seem like a nice person. That's just my opinion. Didn't seem like a really nice person. And so he's kind of portrayed as well, I mean, there's a few bad guys in this, to be honest with you. There are a few bad guys
Yeah,
in this.
see, people get
But he
angry.
definitely seems like
Listen, I'm not saying it's not real. I'm saying there's no verifiable scientific evidence that a real creature exists. And this was the best evidence. This started the whole Bigfoot and infotainment industry, which collectively, Bigfoot makes millions of dollars. Go look on Hulu and just put in Bigfoot. Go look on YouTube and just put in Bigfoot. How many of the YouTube videos are monetized? I have one myself, but ours is debunking a fake Bigfoot hoaxer named Todd Standing, who claimed to film Bigfoot. It's kind of comical compared to the Patty footage. I'm not saying it's not real, but I will say there's no verifiably scientific evidence. There's no verifiable evidence. Grimace Gibman said, I swear I saw Bigfoot selling balloons in the parking lot after a Bob Weir concert a few years ago. Were you doing whippets or some sort of hallucinogen? Because that might explain it, right? Yeah, people get angry at me. The same people get angry at me for saying Bigfoot's not real that get angry at me for saying, aliens aren't real. And that's not really my position. I believe, there could be a cryptid creature out there that we haven't discovered. Remember, just a few short years ago, we discovered a new species of chimpanzees, giant chimpanzees we never even knew existed in the Congo. So, anything's possible. And as far as aliens, I think the universe is way too big for there to not be aliens, but there's no scientific evidence or proof that they visited Earth. Same for Bigfoot. No valid scientific verifiable evidence of Bigfoot's existence. Just stories.
like the most powerful person in Yakima at the time after they collected and generated so much money from the original Patterson film showcases that they would travel all the way, across the country with. And they show the numbers on there. I think it was like over $600,000 they made in a certain amount of time.
Yeah, imagine making $600,000 in 1968, 67, 68. That was like 3 million, 4 million today with inflation.
And that was equivalent to like $5 million
5 million,
now.
there you go.
All they show the numbers in there. I'm not sure how accurate those are, but they're in there. And there's a lot of stuff in there.
Could you imagine
It continues on. The documentary continues on,
generating that much money from just filming a guy in a monkey suit in the woods?
and it shows Bill Munns talking about the costume and how it can't be faked and his experience. And I'm not trying to discredit that.
Yeah, that guy probably feels like an asshole now.
Hollywood special effects arena.
Many
And
people have
he was
said it.
very steadfast on his belief that he believed the costume would be impossible to create. And you
There's
have
no
to excuse
Bigfoot
me,
in
I'm just
it. It's
trying to
usually
go
terrible.
through everything that I remember from the documentary while it's fresh.
Well, yeah, Dogman's fake.
Because
but
there's a lot
Come
to
on,
take in
Savvy.
there. A lot to take in there. Online, people were really losing
They
their minds,
pioneered the found
bashing
footage genre, yeah.
the filmmakers, bashing Clint, bashing his mother, Patterson's widow, Roger Patterson's widow.
Oh, that's awesome, Let's Maga. Let me go over there and check.
Really in bad taste, especially none of these people had seen the film. And for them to attack the way they attacked in social media, online, maybe even reaching out to them to attack them like that, just incredible bad.
Yeah, all the Bigfoot profiteers and promoters are attacking this filmmaker who's really he wasn't a Bigfoot guy, right? And Let's Maga, with one for the goal, says he sent a rage quit, 500 kicks, and he says, "Hey guys, just want to say hi before I have to get ready for my date tonight. Hopefully I can show her my Bigfoot and praise the cash and praise the ass." There you go. Let's Magnus trying to praise the cash and the ass. Good luck on your date, buddy. Listen, cologne, not too much, but cologne. Make sure you're fresh and clean and ready to go, right? And before any important date, especially if you think you might, you think you might smash, you might want to crank one out just so you last longer, give it to her good. Let's Maga. Praise the cash and the ass, bitches. Thank you, Salty Pug saying, let's go. That's right. Let's continue.
Taste on their part. Clint is the good guy in this. Patterson's widow is the good person in this. They are good people. The reason it took so long for Clint to come out is because his mother was making so much money from the licensing from the original Patterson footage.
They're still making
you
millions.
You can see it's been on Discovery Channel, it's been everywhere. History Channel, it's been all over the place. Growing up as a kid, here, watching.
I did a show on
the see that maybe
that's
a couple
Bigfoot
times
variation.
So that was her nest egg. That's what they call it in the documentary. They call it her nest egg. That's where she wasn't working. She was getting money by the licensing of the Patterson film. You have to excuse me. I got some sinuses going on.
Phrasing like heroes and villains, like a comic book.
She didn't want that to end.
It helps. It definitely
several years back, Clint Patterson said he was going to come forward and tell the truth.
You don't want to bust early.
He told this to his mother, and she did not want to give up her nest egg. She needed that money to keep coming in.
History Channel, no hoax, they won't promote.
Supporting her. And I mean, you're not talking just...
Yeah, in that case,
you're talking several thousands of dollars every year coming in.
Good for you, man.
I mean, it's the most famous film since the Zapruder film. And there's a really cool sequence at the beginning of the film where they mention this. They actually show the Zapruder film, and right at the part you think you're going to see, the bloody stuff or whatever, they cut to the Patterson footage. And I thought that was really cool how they did that. But Patricia Patterson said some really, really nasty things to Clint Patterson after he said he was going to come out and tell the truth.
Yeah, imagine that. She didn't want to lose the money train that she's been celebrating for 60 years now. We know that they made the equivalent of $5 million at the time originally, because they would go around to different towns and you could pay $1 or whatever you paid in 1967 to see the film and hear Patterson tell the story of taking the iconic footage. Getting this iconic footage.
Yeah, they show some really...
And then there was millions of dollars in licensing fees on top of that years and years and years later. So one of the most financially successful hoaxes in all of Hoaxville. I think the only one that I could think that probably beat it financially is probably the alien autopsy. But that didn't take 60 years to fall apart as a hoax. That fell apart as a hoax pretty quickly.
Full things she said to him, saying, I disown you, in a letter. You see the tag, I disown you. And he was saying that she said...
it's all good. Thank you. Let's Maga. Don't worry. Worry about your date. Focus. Focus, man.
You can see it. You can see it in Clint's face as he's talking about it. when he's talking about
Yeah, Gimlin took the
his
footage. You're right.
mother, he sees it. You
Patterson
can
was
see
the
it when he's talking
mastermind.
about Roger Patterson. He just starts, you could see it on his face. He just starts getting teary eyed and everything. At
Yeah,
the
you're
beginning of the
right.
documentary, they go back to
Good
their
for the
old
filmmaker.
homestead,
This is
and he's just kind of going through
incredible that he was able to find that
different
rehearsal
sheds.
footage
They
and
actually
get on
find
the
like
record
one of the
statements
old
from
Bigfoot
family members
signs
that it was a hoax.
that they had on their Volkswagen van. They had this Volkswagen Combi van. They would take Roger Patterson, ripped out all the seats, and would load horses in there.
First ever
And
furry
so
convention.
Clint actually mentions reaching back and like petting the horses while they're in this VW bus. I thought it was awesome, man. The photos and everything. And at the very top, it said Bigfoot Expedition. And so there's a really cool scene where
Yeah,
Clint is in one of these sheds and
we had
he's like
Ryder
digging
Leon
through
to talk
stuff,
about those.
and he sees it's like a little floorboard type thing. He's like, holy shit. And he pulls it out, dusts it off, and it's the old Bigfoot Expedition sign that he used to travel around with his dad, Roger Patterson, with. You could just see the emotions on his face. And he said he didn't, at that
Men
time,
in
he was
Black
like
and the
6 or
government
7 years
stage
old. He
played
said
the rehearsal
he could have
footage
cared
back
less
in
about Bigfoot. He
67,
just
yes.
wanted to be out there with his dad. He idolized his dad, was a professional rodeoer, cowboy.
Yeah, the Loch
He
Ness
just
photo.
idolized his dad.
That was
Wanted to be
iconic
just
too.
like
That
him.
got
So he
busted
could
years
care less about Bigfoot. He just wanted to spend time with his dad. Now they also talked
Linda
to
Moulton did kill
some
those
of
cows,
his,
yes.
I guess, cousins that worked for Al Diatley at the time, working for his paving company, working in construction. And that's his family. And I mean, they did not have very nice things to say about Al Diatley. Al Diatley built this gigantic mansion. I think it might be the biggest house in Yakima. It's ridiculous looking. I thought it was like a CGI rendering, but no, that house is just insane when you look at it. That's the house that Patty built. The money that he got from the, Patterson footage, I would imagine. And he used that to buy material for his business, to buy other things, and he was able to profit from that. He was able to profit from the whole Patterson, film that they toured around. And I was talking about his cousins, and his cousins talk about they're up there for like a party, swimming in a pool or something, and that they pull him aside, and that he basically tells them that you know how to get ahead in business, and they're like, no. He's like, you F over your help. And one of the cousins is like, well, I'm your help. What the heck, And so they talk about how little money they got paid by Al Diatley while they were working for him. But this is in the documentary.
Oh, scammy family.
Multiple people, multiple family members of his seemed like they had a problem with Al Diatley. Even there's a segment towards the end of the documentary where I believe her name was Iva, Clint Patterson's aunt, Roger Patterson's sister. They're about to conduct an interview in this gigantic house Patty built. And as they're doing it, they have all the interview stuff set up. They're talking to her, and she's incredibly sweet to Clint, telling him, Clint D, come sit here next to me while we film this and everything. And as they're getting ready to film this, people burst in there, and it's the estate of Al Diatley. And they squash that interview right there.
Yeah, you ain't getting an interview. You're going to screw up our Bigfoot dollars.
Yeah, they said, this is not happening. And so there was no interview with Iva Atlee. I believe that's her name. The sister of Roger Patterson. That was kind of just jarring when seeing that whole sequence play out. They also showed Greg Long and how he would go to these speaking events and talk about how the Patterson footage was a hoax. He showed his audio tapes. He even showed some of the criminal records of Roger Patterson when he had got arrested for renting the camera I believe they originally shot the footage with.
Yeah, he was a deadbeat. He didn't even pay for the rental.
That was all just kind of, you feel really bad for Greg because
that made millions, couldn't pay his bills.
They show in the documentary people questioning him, people belittling him and berating him and his wife. He mentions his wife in there, and it's really unfortunate that she wasn't able to see this come to fruition. But everything was there. Everything had been there. It's just the problem was that nobody wanted to believe it. Everybody wanted to believe in the Patty footage.
Exactly.
Without question, they wanted to believe
Pretty
it. And
lie
even
is
with
better
all
than
the
the ugly
evidence
truth.
right along was showed the supporting. They also show Renee DeHinden in there, and he wasn't very nice to anybody. Just didn't seem nice to anybody at all. He just seemed like a grouch. Uh, Unfortunately, left his wife and kids to go hunt Bigfoot,
And that was a bad
and
decision.
I don't think he ever saw one. He never wasn't sure about the Patterson footage. He thought it was real. Well, he wasn't sure if he thought it was real. He just knew it wasn't Bob Heronomous in the costume for whatever reason, and he just lit Bob Heronomous up.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Bob Heronomous was in the costume. That's what Patricia Patterson told Clint that faithful day when he said he walked in, and she basically told him Bob Heronomous was in the suit. And I know people are probably going to lose their minds over that too, but it's all there. Everything is there.
Yeah, so a lot of the pieces of this being a hoax have been out for quite some time. That's interesting.
They show the lie detector test he took on one of these Fox News networks or whatever, passed it. Right after that, they show a clip of Meldrum, the late Meldrum, saying, "Oh, well, those aren't admissible in court," kind of just downplaying that whole thing.
Yeah, of
Because,
course.
it is
UFO
what it is.
Jeff
But for
Meldrum.
me, the most damning part was the
Yeah, I don't know about that here,
new
Wagner.
footage, the new 16 millimeter footage that was brought to the university where the director worked.
Could be Tales of the Sonic
And
Voyage. Oh,
it's shocking.
forgot
It's
to check in on your channel.
absolutely shocking. I think when people are going to see this,
Oh, I can't
there
wait to
is
see the new
absolutely
footage.
no question. That is the same suit that was filmed in the Patterson
Same
footage.
suit.
100%. It's dark like the Patterson footage. It has breasts like the Patterson footage. You could even see the head is the same shape. Everything is the same. While I'm
Tales of the
watching it,
Sonic
I'm kind of
Voyage. Did you hit
stunned because
1,000? It
it's
says you hit
Patty,
1,000.
but
Congratulations.
it's Patty like we've never seen before. It's a different location.
Tales of the Sonic Voyage is like the 8th person that
It's-
got over the hump.
It was shocking. It was. I had my mouth open the entire
Tales of the
time I was
Sonic Voyage
watching
got monetized.
it. It is in a different
Good for you,
location,
man.
like I said, but it's the
And
same.
Pico Zero says
It's
those cats were
100% the
extras in the
same
Pink
suit.
Moon
And
footage.
even
Exactly.
I can't remember who it was. Someone looked at it and
Yeah,
saw the same lines,
good for
and
him.
they show the footage in real time to all the major
Thank you for
players. They
being a
show it
member
to
for
Jeff
60 months,
Meldrum.
Pico Jewis. It's
Jeff
a lot of
Meldrum, when
support.
he
We
sees it,
appreciate it.
he almost gets teary-eyed. He's like kind of freaking out. He's basically saying, "Well, that looks like a dry run for the Patterson footage." That's
Even
what
Jeff
he says.
Meldrum has to admit in this
They show it
documentary
to
that this looks like
Bob
rehearsal.
Heronomous, and Bob Heronomous is basically just like, "Yeah, that's it. That ain't me in the suit, though." He admits that. He's like, "That ain't me that time." They show it to Clint Patterson. Clint Patterson's response is probably the funniest thing ever.
Yes,
He's just
Morris costumes out
his
of Charlotte,
response to
North
seeing
Carolina.
it in real time is just like, "Holy shit, are you kidding me?" Like, it was great. It was hilarious. They show it
That guy
to
might be a grifter himself.
Greg. They show it to him,
That he
and
made the suit.
he gets a little teary-eyed and
Claimed he
stuff. He
made
gets
the suit
really
for
excited,
years.
basically saying, "Oh yeah, I kind of knew it or whatever." They also show it to Patricia Patterson.
So it's interesting that even Jeff Meldrum, who was a big promoter, that it couldn't be a guy in a suit, he sees the rehearsal footage and has to admit, yeah, that looks like it's rehearsal footage. It looks like the same creature in the famous footage.
And I know I said that there was some estrangement going on there. Towards the end of the documentary, it does seem like there is some peace being made there.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And it was
Alvarez.
through
60-year-long mystery.
I believe it was through
Solved.
Patterson's
I love
sister
stories like this.
that kind of connected those two back. And it was really heartwarming to see that take place. She basically calls the sister, Patterson's sister basically calls Clint Patterson saying, "Hey, your mom wants to see you." And he's basically like, "Get the F out of here, really?" And he's just so excited. He's elated. I think he even like starts getting teary-eyed and starts
Well, that's
choking
the
up.
scary part.
It's so she basically
Families
says, "Don't
break
even
up
call,
over
just
the
go
money
right
for
over."
hoax.
And he's like, "F yeah, we want right over."
Mother estranged from her
So they
son.
go over and they see each other. They hadn't seen each other in quite a long time. As soon as they open the door, they
My pleasure,
embrace and they
Tails.
both lose
Good
it.
for
They
you.
both start
Go make
crying.
some
It was a
money. Praise the
beautiful
cash,
scene. It was
bitches.
incredible. As soon as she sits down to see
Whenever
the
a
footage,
YouTuber
they're
gets
talking a little bit.
monetized, it puts
She
a smile
says,
on my
I
face.
hate that freaking footage. It's cursed. She says it's cursed. It's ruined so many lives. It's done so much harm. The way she talks about it is really,
Bigfoot escaped from a
really
furry.
amazing the way she talks about it. Yeah. And then they play the footage for her, the new footage, which I should have probably said earlier. The footage was brought to the university, and it was actually
Yes, they did say that,
Patterson
even
that
though
had
this
taken
was
this
filmed
footage
before he
to
died,
a
apparently.
gentleman that had worked for a Boeing company at that time, which was one of the only
Yes.
places they could do the Kodachrome, which this was Kodachrome film. And we know it took place in 1967 because of these special symbols it had on it. Basically, like a little
Yeah,
code or
there's
time code
codes
thing.
on the film,
It had like
on
a
the film stock.
square and a
You know what
circle.
year it was
In
manufactured.
1967, I'm sorry, 1966 was the last time
Yes, Bigfoot is
that
definitely a
symbol,
cover-up for the
those
furry
symbols were
fetish
together.
guys.
Each
Yeah.
year was like a different combination of symbols. So we 100% know it was before the official Patterson Gimlin footage, without a doubt.
The
And
more
so
is
they
gonna
talked to the
sketchy,
daughter
so is the son.
of
Yeah,
the engineer who restored it and everything. And she said Bigfoot was not allowed to be talked about in their house. And that's the sole reason it had been locked up for so long. And they had almost forgot about it. She had always known about it. And she lived in that area of Pacific Northwest. And she was kind of scared of, encountering Bigfoot out there. And basically her dad's like, you don't have anything to worry about. And she's
It's
like, what are you
fake.
talking about? He mentioned the video in the safe, the videotape in the safe. Film, I should say. And she had an inkling of what it was. I don't think she had ever seen it until she took it to get it digitized. And that is when we see this incredible footage. They played for Patricia Patterson, and she's not really too shocked. She just looks at it and is like,
She
yeah,
might have seen it
that's
before.
it. That makes sense now. I'm glad this is out there. But one of the most important things she says is what's in the video. And I'll just give you guys a little breakdown of what is in this new video. It's very short, maybe about 40 seconds. But we see the very first shot is of a someone on an Appaloosa pony horse, a pony.
Yeah,
And
that
it
is
is Bob Gimlin. Bob Gimlin was involved in this dry run, in this dress rehearsal of the Patterson Gimlin footage.
He
It's
might have been the guy in the
100%
suit.
without
Who
a doubt.
knows?
Bob Gimlin and the horse in that famous photo that he had or whatever. There's like a famous photo of them all together. Patterson and Gimlin, Heronomous. It's that same horse he's riding. Without a doubt, you could see him and he's smiling, and I think he's holding a pistol. He's in a rain slicker. It shows to him riding a couple steps, and then it cuts to Patty. We see
Okay,
Patty
so
there,
it wasn't
kind of
Gimlin
behind
in
a
the
tree
suit.
a little bit, but after that, in the wide opening, we still get a little bit of shaking, but not
Yeah, tough
nearly as
pill
much
for
as
the
the
true
Patterson
believers.
footage. We just get a little bit of shaking. We see it's behind a tree, then boom, it's out in the open, and you see it. You see Patty Aldiatli in a suit in all of its beautiful glory. And it is amazing to behold because it's the same suit. It's got breast. It's the same shaped conical head type deal, big old head on it. Same color, same lines. Like I mentioned, they were looking at it saying it's the same lines and all that stuff. So
Yeah, everybody who's seen this new documentary and seen this new rehearsal footage says that is 100% the same suit or creature depicted in the iconic footage.
it's 100% a hoax, 100% the same suit. Bob Gimlin knows about this. Bob Gimlin is aware of this.
They called the Bigfoot footage
Shame on Bob
Bigfoot in
Gimlin
that
for going
footage.
along and lying for so long. It's really sad.
Well, he made a lot of
that,
money, right?
He has just kind of been playing this game the whole time,
Of course he's going to
knowing
be lying.
he was involved with the dress rehearsal and the Patterson footage, the original Patterson footage. It's just damning. There is no going
Yeah, we got
any
to
which
find out
way
who that
about it.
first
He
guy
was
in the suit
involved and he
was. He
knew
was
it.
skinnier than the second guy.
Absolutely knew it. Unbelievable.
Same guys that were killed in Lindenmoulton House cow suit.
Unbelievable. One of the more interesting parts of the documentary is
Let's get some subs. Let's get some yes, slow on the support tonight.
Basically says, I'm going to bury the hatchet with Bob.
For your kindness and for being a
And
member.
he goes,
well,
they have a lovely conversation, and he says, here's the $1,000 my dad owed you. I'm a man of my word. I want to give it to you. At first, Bob did not want to accept this. And after a few minutes, he says, okay, if you insist, it's the official bearing of the hatchet.
That's interesting.
There was no beef between Patterson and the Heronomous clan after this, I guess. And then they do something incredible. They say, are you willing to confront Bob about this? And Bob Gimlin, I should say, Bob Heronomous says, hell yeah, let's do this.
That's
so they go to a 2024 Yakima, I believe, conference, Bigfoot conference. They wait in line, Clinton and Bob Heronomous, to see Bob Gimlin. And then they're there. They don't see them yet. They don't see them. And boom, they're right in front of each other. It's very cordial. Clint goes and shakes Bob Gimlin's hand.
So the guy
Bob
in the suit is confronting one of the hosters
next to him, and he say, "Hey, Bobby," they start chatting a little bit. What the hell are you doing out here? Bob Gimlin says, "What are you doing out here?"
Bob Gimlin's still
nothing
working
crazy
UFO
or
conventions.
aggressive. And then we see Clint kind of shaking his head, talking to him. We can hear everything.
Yes,
Clint's talking to him, saying, "Hey,
footprints
are you ready to come forward? Tell the truth. Are you ready? We've got everything lined up. We're coming out here. We're telling the truth. Are you ready? You want to tell the truth?" And Bob is shaking his head. And he goes, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm ready.
Gimlin was going to come clean.
Basically, as this whole thing is going on, Bob Gimlin's wife.
That's okay. Thanks. Another
He literally gets in front of the cameras to where they block the view of this dialogue going back and forth between Clint Patterson and Bob Gimlin. She's literally blocking the view and with a really pissed off face, just like.
So Bob Gimlin's wife gets in front of the camera that he's about to film and spill the beans on and won't let him spill the beans on it being a hoax.
Bob agrees to do an interview saying coming clean. It never happened.
Yeah,
absolutely
I never heard that before.
Because his wife seemed
to compared to a movie star, though,
basically put the kibosh on that. Basically saying that's not happening, and they say that in a little title sequence saying we had interview scheduled and it fell through because of.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. We'll add it to the goal or the
really unfortunate.
Final take.
Really unfortunate.
Thank you, Let's Make.
Bob Gimlin couldn't man up.
He's in a good mood. He's got a really hot chick tonight.
I've been lying for 60 years, which he has been. It's unfortunate, but he's become this celebrity, the biggest person in Bigfoot, really. It's all a lie.
He works all the conventions. How much money did Bob Gimlin make? That's consumer fraud.
Day one. And I know people are going to be like, "Oh, this is the footage that they use because Roger was filming a documentary." Absolutely not. They show that documentary. Well, they show Roger Patterson's little documentary in this documentary. They show clips of it. This is absolutely 100% not that. This is a dress rehearsal for the Patterson.
Well, it can be said for somebody that spends so much time on UFOs.
With Al Diatley in the suit.
Or aliens.
Everybody said it was Al Diatley in the suit. And they asked Bob Heronomous why he didn't come forward sooner, and they basically said that he was worried about Al Diatley. Said he was the most powerful person in Yakima. He actually said he was worried about getting bumped off. If you guys know what that means, I'm not going to elaborate.
Gonna get unalived.
He said that
about a Bigfoot hoax.
Patricia also said that in her little segment that she had. She said that he witnessed Al Diatley beat Iva, his Roger Patterson's sister, multiple times. I'm just saying what's in the documentary. So he seemed like a pretty volatile, violent guy from what I got in the documentary. I mean, it's
this guy's a Bigfoot fan and he seems really rattled.
It's over, guys. It's over.
He seems
Patterson
sad. I feel
footage is
bad for
done.
Bigfoot fans.
It is a hoax, 100%.
And by the way, every video that I saw of somebody that has seen this new documentary is like this. Like, I can't believe it. It's totally a hoax. Totally busted. 100%. This is a hoax.
I never thought I would say that so confidently. I never thought this footage would come out, this new footage showing exactly what is a dress rehearsal. It's Bob Gimlin in a rain slicker with like a pistol chasing after Aldi Alley in the Patty suit and all the beautiful glory. You see it way clearer than the Patterson footage. The
Maybe that
original
was the
Patterson
problem.
footage,
It was
way
too clear.
clearer.
It was too
And that's
clear.
kind of
the
a
original
giveaway
take.
that maybe he wasn't shaking good enough. Maybe Patty wasn't far enough because it looks a lot closer now. I really don't know where to go from here. I really don't.
Yeah, it's a
It's
shame.
going to be interesting to see
Sad day for Bigfoot
what happens
friends.
once this documentary
The
is
most
released to the
iconic
public.
footage.
People are able
Totally
to see it.
busted
People are
his
able to
feet.
make up their own minds. There is no doubt in my mind this is 100% a hoax. It's undeniable proof, especially after seeing this new footage.
And on the record
I don't know
statement
what else to say,
confirming
guys.
hoax from the
I
wife
really
of the
don't know
hoax.
what else to say except that it's over. The Patterson footage is a hoax, 100%. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where to go from here. I really don't. I had some videos that I was gonna put out here on the channel. I think I'm gonna wait. I think I'm not gonna put out a video for a while, just because people need to sit and
Yeah, it's going to take some time to
let
digest
this
this.
sink in. People need to
Such an iconic film,
digest this.
proven as a hoax.
So I think I'm gonna hold off on making some videos for a while. But we know now 100% that the original Patterson Gimlin footage from 1967 is a hoax. And I just want to say to all the people that that believed it was a hoax and that didn't get to see this newest footage to confirm that. You're right. You're right. And you can rest easy now knowing that you were right.
All right. Excellent review of the recent documentary. And like I said, everybody that I have seen a video from or heard from, basically 100% convinced that this documentary, 100% nail in the coffin, the Patterson Gimlin, famous, iconic Bigfoot footage that started the entire Bigfoot craze in 1967, confirmed to be a hoax. And Tales of the Sonic Voyage with one for the goal says, what does Bob Lazar think about this crap? I'll believe what he tells me. Yeah, that new Bob Lazar film is coming out, which means Tales of the Sonic Voyage. I have just a couple of weeks, 2 weeks or less, to get all the data points proving that Bob Lazar was a fraud and put it on a video or do a live going through the evidence that Bob Lazar is a fraud. And to counter, because apparently the new Bob Lazar film is coming out, and all that it has that I've seen so far that looks new is shitty AI slop footage, right? But thank you, Tales of the Sonic Voyage, one for the goal, and we appreciate that. I am also wanted to share this. People say, oh, couldn't be a guy in a suit. I believe that I built a better suit than the Patterson Gimlin footage suit. Because mine has leg and arm extensions. And here we have me, and this is at a comic book shop in Philadelphia that was near my former home. And I believe the gentleman in the photo, near as I remember, is like 5'8". So that'll tell you how big this suit made me. And there is arm and leg extensions to make me really big. And this guy's 5'8", 5'9", I believe, too. So the suit made me like 8.5 feet tall. I loved Bigfoot and created this suit, and kind of hard to walk around in that thing. Look at this guy with me. I think that guy is like 5'6" too, you know? So interesting. People say you can't make a Bigfoot suit as good or better than the Patterson Gimlin footage. I believe that I have done that, right? Yes, I have lost weight. That's pretty great, right? And so I still have this suit in my garage, believe it or not. The one thing that I did improve it past these pictures. These are pretty old pictures. I have a undersuit, like a muscle suit that goes underneath the fur part of it now, which fills it out, makes the chest and I got, of all things, I got football pads, I think, for the shoulders. And there's a whole undersuit, like a muscle suit, that pads this out more and makes it a little even more believable than it is. It's pretty good as it is, though, I would have to say. And those are leg extensions and arm extensions. So I have like I don't even know, and triggers. I could open and close the hands with these triggers on the arm extensions. Every once in a while, I see that Bigfoot suit in a big, huge box in my garage and say I'm going to work on it again, but I never have. And the only other improvement is I wanted to make the mouth on the mask movable. That would make it a little more convincing, right? Maybe some other additions, right? Yeah, that's not a Bigfoot suit. That's goof on. Yes. I got to make some found footage near your cabin. Yeah, and with this suit, I can like measure. I could have the Bigfoot creature walk by a tree, and then I could measure the tree and show that this creature walking through the footage has to be 8.5 foot tall. With science, right? That would be kind of a convincing hoax, right? Need to make the hair on the head more messy. Yeah, you're probably right. Well, what are you going to do, right? Did the best I could. I built this whole thing in my garage. And then it was funny. We have a back street at my old house in Philadelphia. It's like the street behind the front street where everybody's garages and yards were. And I would practice walking in this thing right out on the back street. And occasionally a car would come by and be like, what? Roll down their window and yell at me like, what the fuck? Yes. So I've got a little bit more time to share. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the Travis Walton case. For those unaware, Travis Walton is one of the most iconic alien abduction cases that has been around since the 70s, right? Okay, 1 second. So not only did we find out this week that the Patterson Gimlin footage, the most famous Bigfoot footage in history, is completely fake, but we've also found out that the Travis Walton case is a complete and total hoax as well. Because Mike Rogers, for those unaware, let me find Wikipedia here, or 1 second. One second. I have here somewhere a synopsis of the Travis Walton case. For those unaware, it is one of the most iconic. I guess that's the theme for this week. In my opinion, an iconic hoax, because Travis Walton claimed that he was abducted by aliens into a spaceship. So, 1 second. Let me get to my synopsis here. November 5th, 1975, in Arizona's Apache Sitgreaves National Forest near Heber, logger Travis Walton, at the time age 22, and his 6-man logging crew spotted a glowing metallic disc-shaped UFO hovering low in the woods while driving home after work. Walton jumped out of the truck to get a closer look, and a bright beam of light shot out of the craft, struck him, and knocked him unconscious. The panicked crew fled, thinking he was dead. When they returned 15 minutes later, Walton and the UFO were gone. He was missing for 5 days until November 10th. Searches by police and helicopters turned up nothing. Walton reappeared dazed and weak on a highway near Heber. He claimed he woke up inside the craft, was examined by small gray humanoid aliens with large heads and eyes in a hospital-like room, and that he fought them off, then encountered helmeted human-like beings before blacking out again and being returned to Earth. At the time, the crew he was working with all backed up the initial sighting. And there was even people said that the crew passed polygraph tests, but the polygraph tests given at the time were asking if they had anything to do with his disappearance or murder. The police thought he was murdered. Walton later wrote in the 1978 book, The Walton Experience, also known as Fire in the Sky, which became the 1993 movie of the same name, starring D.B. Sweeney. So Travis Walton has cashed in all the way since 1975. He has been cashing in. Travis Walton is a fixture at UFO conventions, selling books, documentaries, and more. And I mean, for a while, if you went to a UFO convention, Travis Walton was there, especially the bigger ones. So he made a lot of money off of the story. One of the people in the logging crew was a man named Mike Rogers. Now, several years ago, we covered that Mike Rogers got into a financial dispute. Remember, Mike Rogers was one of the logging crew that backed up Travis Walton's story for years. Suddenly, they got in a financial dispute because Travis Walton was making new big deals for documentaries and films and not cutting in his friend and fellow alien experiencer and backup witness to the story, Mike Rogers. And Mike Rogers suddenly recanted, saying that the story was a hoax. And later, Travis Walton and him, I guess, buried the hatchet, and allegedly, Travis Walton cut him in on the new documentary and film money, and then Mike Rogers suddenly, once again, said that the story was real and true. So Mike Rogers, that same Mike Rogers who once called the story a hoax over a financial dispute with Walton, recently passed away. And I have this from Charlie Weiser. And by the way, Charlie Weiser, if you're watching, I don't know if you meant to, but Charlie Weiser is a very skeptical voice in the UFO community, does great debunks, has been a guest here. Suddenly blocked me on Twitter, or at least maybe it was an accident, I don't know. So just Charlie Weiser, if you're watching, please unblock me or message me, whatever I did to piss you off to make that happen, I don't know. So Mike Rogers of Travis Walton fame died February 6, 2026, obituary in the comments. His daughter Michelle directed me to a Quora post of March 5th in which she describes how she took her father's deathbed confession. Remember, Mike Rogers is one of the witnesses of the Travis Walton alien abduction case, always backed up Travis Walton's story. Mike confessed to the Travis Walton hoax for the second time, and the first part of the Phoenix Lights, the V-shaped gliding craft with 7 lights that in interviews Mike described as a wire and plastic construction lifted by helium. Apparently, Mike Rogers is not only confessing to Travis Walton being a hoax, but saying that he had something to do with the famous Phoenix Lights UFO case, where he was flying a UFO gliding craft that was made with 7 lights and helium somehow, as a wire and plastic construction lifted by helium. Mike apparently wanted the truth to come out, so let's hope Michelle follows through. And here's the post, which has since been deleted by Mike Rogers' daughter. On Friday, February 6th, my father died. We held his funeral this past Saturday, February 28th, 2026, in Snowflake, Arizona. His name was Michael Howard Rogers. He was best known for his role as the crew captain in the movie Fire in the Sky, and of course, in his role in the UFO story. He went into the hospital in December and wasn't able to attend our family Christmas party. On January 23rd, 12th, he was released to hospice home care as he wished to die at home surrounded by his family rather than in a medical facility. He called and asked me to hurry over, saying that he wished to speak to me about a matter of great importance. He said I needed to get to him before they began the morphine and other drugs. I immediately asked my manager if I could leave work and have the day off, briefly explaining the situation, and I hurried home. Then I remembered I had an important appointment at 3 p.m. to get some stitches out. I spent an hour gathering my things, including some good pens and a notebook, also a voice recorder. Okay, so this is a very long story, but I will condense it down for you, my friends, intending to tell the story sometime later and on other platforms and probably by some other means in the near future. My father, Mike Rogers, wished to confess to several hoaxes that he carried out beginning in November 1975. Yes, that UFO incident was one of the most known UFO stories in the world, and it was a hoax. One of his last hoaxes, which is known as the Phoenix Lights, in March of 1997, which he explained to me in great detail, including how and what he created the UFO on a large ranch north of Prescott, Arizona, the land belonging to a friend of his named Buford Bell, who has long since passed. Mr. Bell had no knowledge of what my father was using his land for, and he was supposed to be taking care of the ranch while Mr. Bell was out of the country vacationing for over a month. To say the least, I was stunned, of course, and indicates the point of the post is to confess on behalf of my father for all of the UFO hoaxes that he carried out all over the world from November 1975, that would be the Travis Walton hoax, to at least March of 1997. This also includes several crop circles in England, beginning with an intricate snowflake design in 1994. When I asked him why he did not confess to any of this himself, he said that it was because he is terrified of going to jail or prison, most specifically for the Phoenix Lights hoax, because the military got involved to investigate what was definitely seen as a potential threat to millions of people. He said that he did not intend to fly his UFO over the enormous city of Phoenix, that its intended path was over small towns where it would definitely be noticed by some people out in the country. He wanted for me to confess and apologize to the world for his hoaxes, and that for all the lies right up until the very end of his life. He hoped that telling the truth finally would make things better somehow. I know that it's not possible, but I promise to try. Michelle Detrus. And that is Mike Rogers, original witness to the Travis Walton case, deathbed confession. Oh, and I apologize. This is from a post by Charlie Weiser, which was on Facebook. You can follow Charlie Weiser on Facebook or on Twitter. I think on Twitter it's @LikeItMatters. On Facebook it's just Charlie Weiser. So pretty incredible story. I don't know that I believe that he was part of the Phoenix Lights case. We know that he was part of the Travis Walton case. But it seems a little far-fetched to me. Like, oh, I also did the Phoenix Lights UFO. And, this Mike person was basically a UFO guy. He traveled in UFO circles, went to UFO conventions. His UFO is just a guy in a suit. Yes. That Bigfoot suit of Steve's is wearing 70 flares to make it contemporary with the Patterson Gimlin film. Those are the leg extensions. Best way I could do it. Basically big buckets and shoes glued on top. Bolted, actually, to big buckets. It's fun to walk in that thing. I will say this. Walking in that Bigfoot suit made me feel like the Hulk. You just feel like this big, huge presence. It was a lot of fun building it and wearing it. So I apologize. Fair use. We're sharing Charlie Weiser's recounting of the story. It's important to note that Mike Rogers twice now has declared that the Travis Walton story is a hoax. And interesting to see, I will be interested to see if Travis Walton is still working UFO conventions and making UFO content after the second time his, best friend and original witness to his alien abduction says that the whole thing was a hoax. Also interesting, there wasn't many details about the Travis Walton hoax, but many people believe, per his previous confession, that what they did is they lit up a fire tower in the woods with strange lights, and then they Mike Rogers and Travis Walton basically did a prank on the rest of the logging crew, and they didn't know that it was fake, but those two did. Chupacabra costume could pass as Bigfoot. Maybe. Yeah. So isn't it interesting? This week we get the confirmation of two really big stories in paranormal, both of which, by the way, have made millions of dollars separately. Millions of dollars have been made on the Travis Walton case. Millions of dollars have been made, certainly, on the Patterson Gimlin Bigfoot footage. Both now confirmed as hoaxes, fakes, frauds. And I think that's interesting. So we'll take some time to take some comments and questions from the live chat. Please put them in all capital letters. I want to take a moment to thank our supporters. A little slow on support tonight. Nowhere near the goal, but we thank you all for your support. Chol. May 1st will be a Friday. Are you going to do a 10th anniversary show for the May 1st burst? Yeah, maybe. I mean, people keep asking me to cover Dark Side Phil again, but the problem is the views for me covering Dark Side Phil, just after the interview, they were huge. And then they just went, as time went on. You know, most people come here for the paranormal, UFO content, alien stuff, like tonight, Bigfoot stuff, hoax busting. They're not really here to hear about Earth's greatest e-beggar, but I enjoy, because he just makes me laugh, Dark Side Phil. So maybe we'll cover him for a kick-only show or whatever. I just don't want to cloud up my channel, because I also noticed that some people would unsubscribe when I posted or did a live show on Phil, because I guess they're like, I'm getting a notification for this Dark Side Phil shit. This is not what I signed up for. You know, we have a small niche. So thank you, Chol, for your kindness, generosity, and support. All right. Questions or comments for me? We'll take some comments and questions from the live chat, put them back on the screen as well. Christine Climb with one for the goal. Thank you. Sorry, we are not getting notifications, but we are doing catch-up. Well, I'm glad to see that you are here, Christine Climo, whether you're late or not, right? Always glad to see a good show supporter. Thank you, Christine Climo, both for being a member. Climo, for being a member, and the £5. Much, much appreciated. And no worries about being late. And if you haven't already, please do smash that subscribe button. It's a huge boost to our channel. We like to bring you these type of stories. To me, this should be a huge story to anybody interested in Bigfoot, of course. Mike Rogers was a hoaxer with Travis and then went on to lie for decades about stuff like hoaxing the Phoenix Lights. He resented that no one knew him like Travis or his genius in hoaxing the case. Yeah, he always struck me as like the bitter second guy in a team, like a band where like the singer gets all the attention and the guitar player gets jealous, right? Of that. That's kind of what he struck me as, Steve Long. Kind of always bitter that Travis was famous and he wasn't, right? Mike Rogers couldn't take credit for hoaxing the Travis Walton case. He made up lies about hoaxing all kinds of other stuff. Well, I don't know, though. I think a deathbed confession is pretty good evidence. Why would you... but then again, if he's making up stuff about the Phoenix Lights while on his deathbed, right? Amber Gedden is here. Now it's a party. People are retarded thinking that there's going to be disclosure, especially after hoaxes coming to light. Yes, and even though I'm blocked for some reason, sometimes it's easy to piss somebody off. I may have used something of hers and I didn't put it in the video description or didn't thank her enough. Occasionally somebody gets pissed off at me, even though what we do is fair use. I don't really have to provide links or credit, but we try to do that. Like tonight, every video that we shared is in the description of the video or podcast. Yes. I bet Wilcock would watch your show at home. I bet Wilcock watches your show at home and freaks out. Yes. I met Travis Walton. He really doesn't know where he is most of the time. And yep, I got pictures to prove we met him, but that was before we found Steven. Yeah, and you can see our previous coverage on the other time that Mike Rogers came forward claiming the Travis Walton story was a hoax. And it's important to know that Travis Walton failed a lie detector test on national television. And the questions were very simple. Did you fabricate any part of your story about your alien abduction? No, failed. Indicative of deception. So he was clearly trying to deceive the polygrapher, the person administering the lie detector test. And I have heard that, Christine Klimo, that he's kind of got dementia or he's senile or something, right? I will say this. Many people who have met Travis Walton just say things like, well, he seems like such a nice guy. I don't think he would make it up. Or, the guy's been making a living off of that story since 1975. He's made a lot of money on that story. If Hollywood buys the rights to your story, that's not a small check, right? That's not a small check. And when Fire in the Sky came out, oh boy, did he get, that's a Hollywood movie about his story. Great movie, by the way, but now we know it's clearly, I'm fine with that movie as long as you know, like, this isn't a real story. This is a hoax. But it's a very highly dramatized version of the story, really creepy. And when that Hollywood movie came out, boy, Travis Walton got a big boost to his grifting career, and he worked UFO conventions for years. In fact, he's still making UFO conventions. And last I actually heard from Travis Walton, and by the way, do you know who profited a lot from Travis Walton? Jimmy Church. Travis Walton's been on Jimmy Church a lot. So there you go, Jimmy Church. You're going to apologize to your audience for promoting a hoax so many times with Travis Walton, who's now a proven hoaxer. Yeah. No, nobody ever apologizes. Are all the people that platformed Travis Walton going to cover this story now that we know through a deathbed confession that the story was fake all these years? Of course not. Travis Walton, by his own admission, used the money from his film rights to buy his house. That's correct. So we got enough money for a house from those film rights. Travis Walton witness recants. There you go. That's our original coverage of the time that Mike Rogers, when he was still alive, said the story was a hoax. Pretty interesting that two big, long, venerated stories in paranormal land got busted this week. Yes, Jimmy Church vetted him 3 times. Exactly. Yeah, he always vets him, right? The Colossus of Rhodes was very tall guys in a suit. No, I think that was a statue, wasn't it? Right? Yes. So we're going to call this one a quick one. Well, for us, it's quick. Just under 2 hours. I will check in once again with the kick support before we bounce on out of here. No, Let's MAGA is the last person. Let's MAGA's going on a date with a really hot girl tonight. So, guys, everybody send him some prayers, right? Pray that he gets the access that we all desire. Get her, Let's MAGA, right? Yes, for the masses. Jimmy Church vets to make sure they're fake enough to make some money. Yes, turns out Jimmy Church was just a guy in a suit. That is correct. Yes. So we've done our due diligence. I believe I will be back. I believe I will be back tomorrow night at 7 p.m., but I can't be sure. I've got a situation with my children. My one son had strep throat last week. Now my older son has the flu verified. They gave him a flu test and it came back positive. And he was home all day today. He's going to be home all day tomorrow. And very difficult for me to have the children all day and then work at night as well. So I may bounce out tomorrow. Follow me on X at Stephen Cambion. Also, be sure to visit our website. I always forget to plug that. And I just paid like a good deal of money for another year of that website. But I like to have it as a resource for our viewers. It's Truth Seeker Show. One Truth Seeker and then the word show.com. From there, there's RSS feeds. You can get all the latest episodes, whether you want the video version or the audio version. Just note that the audio version is always a few days behind. I get to it when I get to it, because Spreaker has been sucking lately, and it's an awful lot of work to convert the shows to audio and convert the thumbnail and put in all the description and all that stuff. And then, we make like $40 a month or something, maybe more. I don't know. I haven't looked in a while because it pisses me off to spend all that time doing the conversions and get $40 for the whole month of doing that. But I keep doing it because many people tell me, especially people who drive for a living, that they can't be watching a video while driving. They could get in trouble if they had a problem or an accident, if they check their phone log, but they're allowed to listen to audio podcasts. So we keep it going for you people driving and people who tell me that they only listen to the audio podcast. Don't want to lose those viewers. And by the way, if you're listening in audio podcast land, we love and appreciate you. But go on over to YouTube, put Truth Seekers, one word in the search bar. Go there. Look for me, the strange guy with sunglasses. Go to the channel, smash the subscribe button. A huge boost to our channel. We love and appreciate you audio listeners, but you're missing half the fun. So go on over to YouTube, Truth Seekers, one word in the search bar. Go to the channel, smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and come here and be a part of our live interactive broadcasts and tapings for the podcast. You audio listeners are most welcome. And if I haven't said it enough times today, best practices. I got a content creator friend who's very critical, saying I don't do that enough. I'm supposed to remind everybody, smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, huge boost to our channel, and also remind you, share these videos on your social media and make sure that you hit the like button and leave me some comments. What do you think about this iconic Patterson Gimlin footage? The footage that started an entire industry around Bigfoot. What do you think about this finally being proven to be fake? 100% fake. I think of the years and years and years I've watched experts on the History Channel say, it couldn't be a suit. It couldn't just be a guy in a suit. No way. Or when I've heard a special effects guy say, or makeup guy from the time say, well, we didn't have the technology to make suits that good or that realistic in 1966. Apparently you did. It's just a gorilla suit with some tits glued onto it, basically. Seen from a distance, it was good enough. So make sure you leave some comments. And also, if you have a subject that you would like us to cover, leave it in the comments. I read every single comment. And I try to reply to as many as possible. Sometimes the comments are a little overwhelming, though. But you can also email me ideas for future shows at truthseekershow@gmail.com. But the one thing I will say is many people send me a link to some obscure content creator that gets 2,000 or 3,000 views and want me to cover them. No, we have to get people, we have to punch up. So if you're going to send me some wackadoo to cover, please be sure it's a wackadoo getting a lot of views and attention so that, it's worth our time to investigate them and cover them. Daryl Sims, the alien hunter. No, we haven't really covered him, but he's been on my list for a while. Maybe I'll put him back on the list since you asked about him. I have a huge list of people that I haven't covered. Somebody just asked today or yesterday about what is her name? Elizabeth April. And yes, we have covered Elizabeth April. She's talking to the Galactic Federation. One moment here. She just got off from a remote viewing with we'll share this too because it's funny. Oh, 1 second. She just got off of a galactic phone call with the Galactic Federation or something. Hold on 1 second. So Elizabeth April, yes, we covered and we busted a huge scam she was running that is a verifiable, provable 100% scam. And it's funny, years later after we busted her original scam, she's still back, grifting. She's psychic. She talks to aliens, all this shit.
With the Galactic Federation, every single month, on the 11th of every month, I remote view the Galactic Federation mothership live. And this was
we're going to cover this bitch again.
So they went into a lot of things. It was about an hour and a half recording. And one of the things that they were talking about is that the group called the Collective, otherwise known as the White Hats, are essentially messaging encrypted messages to all of the Illuminati members or the
Illuminati,
shadow
too.
government
Aliens
members.
and
If we're talking
Illuminati.
celebrities, musicians, politicians, government officials, military,
Yeah, do that,
you
Amber
name
Getty.
it. If they're
that. I
involved in the
lost the
shadow
links. I'm
government,
sorry.
they are getting a message right now that they will be exposed.
Yes, and
You would
here's
think
our
that with the
original
Epstein files,
coverage of
that's
her
already a
scam. We
threat in
busted
and of
her
itself,
bad in a total
but they're
scam.
taking it to the next level. Now, I don't
Looks
know
like
if
she's still
it's they're getting
scamming.
exposed for being a part of the shadow government and the Illuminati. I don't know if it's they're going to get exposed in being a reptilian shapeshifter.
You know why
I
this
don't know if
bitch
they're
is
going to be exposed
making
in
money.
maybe
She's
some of the
easy on the
blackmail tapes,
eyes.
like say the
Oh, she's
Epstein
got
or
so
the
many
Diddy
dumb
tapes,
simp
or
alien
other tapes that were
UFO
created that were
nerds
not a part of
simping
Epstein
for
and Diddy.
sending her money.
But essentially,
Yep.
right, we are
Galactic
in the midst
Federation
of
mothership.
seeing celebrities, musicians canceling their world tours right now.
Yeah, everybody's
we're
getting
seeing
clowned.
massive, huge CEOs
They're all
stepping
getting
down
cloned
off
and
of their
replaced with
positions
clones.
because of these threats that are coming from the white hats. Now, on top of that, the shadow government, in order to
Mothership
combat
OnlyFans, yes.
this situation, they are pushing back and reaching out to their members and saying, we will give you more fame. We're going to give you more money. We are going to give you more power, more control. Whatever they promised initially, they are doubling down.
Yes, Cosmic Con Bingo.
And it is an insane battle that is happening right now. There was another thing about the reptilians and the clones, and I'll just mention one more thing, but please go check out the entire thing. It's season 2026, episode 3, okay, of the Galactic Federation summits and essentially season.
She's attending Galactic Federation summits. Coming
so
back
they were
with
saying
new
that
intel, boys.
They are replacing all of these influential figures with clones, because these influential figures were actually shape-shifting reptilians. And because the frequency is getting to a point where it's so high, the reptilian shape-shifting technology can't exist in that higher frequency. So in order to avoid the reptilians getting exposed for being reptilians, they would rather replace them with clones because the technology can exist in the higher frequency. So crazy.
Yeah, she just got off the phone with the Galactic Federation. Oh, her remote viewing session with the Galactic Federation. Yeah, she's going to be a wackadoo of the week coming up. We're going to check back in with her, right? They all sound manic. They all sound high. They all sound like they're smoking crack, if you ask me. But what do I know? That girl gets 100 times the views that we get here at Truth Seekers, because she gives people what they want, a fantasy land, right? She's going to start a crystal healing session. That is correct, John Q. Colt. And welcome from the Twitter live chat. No matter where you're chatting, you really should. You people on Twitter, but I get it. People like the Twitter feed for whatever reason. Some people like the Kick feed. Some people are even still in the Twitch feed. We have people on the Facebook feed. Wherever you're at, go on over to YouTube. Truth Seekers, one word in the search bar. Go there, smash the subscribe button. If nothing else, you could win a free membership. Today, we had one gifted Truth Seekers membership. Oftentimes, we have 5 or 10 gifted memberships per show. So lots of chances to win a free channel membership. Get in that members section for free, but only by being a subscriber. I'm not going to keep harping on it. Smash the subscribe button. And it's a huge boost to our channel. Yes, Corey Good is going on Coley's channel on March 25th. Yeah, and I'm going to cover that, but I'm going to do it on Kick, so she can't do shit about it. I'm not going to let her file false copyright claims. For those unaware, this Coley girl, she's a criminal. I think she lost. I'm not going to say it, but she's a criminal, convicted criminal. I think she's a convicted thief or felon, maybe. And by the way, I'm going from memory, so don't sue me, Coley. Corey Good is so down that he has to go on a girl who has a totally botted out channel. Like, she bragged to me that she had thousands of subscribers. She posts something on X and she gets 2 likes. She doesn't have subscribers. They're yes, and hype the videos. Share them on your social media. It really does help a lot. We appreciate all you people. I see you sharing. Thank you guys who share the videos on your social media. I scroll through my Twitter feed sometimes, or my Facebook feed, and or even Instagram, and I go, "Oh, this person from my live chat is sharing my videos. That's awesome. We need all the help that we can get because we pay the truth tax here. If I was just telling fake stories, we'd be getting tens of thousands more views, right?" Ray Gunner says convicted fraud felon. I don't know which. I know she's a convicted criminal. She may have lost her children over substance abuse issues. Anyway, Corey Good is so down that he can't get on any real good podcasts anymore. So he goes on this bitch's show, and then she copyright claims anybody that covers the story of Corey and the bullshit that he says on her show. She's a big defender that Corey got attacked. No, Corey did the attacking. He's the one that sued everybody, and he deserves everything he gets. Nobody bought his new film. Yeah, let's check in with that. I haven't checked in with that for a while. While we're here, we'll just see. How many reviews does Corey Good's newest film have? The old films got, beyond disclosure, 33 whole reviews, right? And I know some of the reviews got removed because Corey reviewed his own film. Ha ha! Yes, Corey always looks strung out. Well, people say she's drunk and on drugs, but I don't know that to be true. Rumors and speculation. Yeah, I'm sure we both will cover her. Corey does, rumors and speculation about her. Take from that what you will. I'm sure we will both cover that. He'll be stupid enough to talk about his court case again. No, I don't know. Maybe he learned his lesson last time. He got dragged. For those that are aware, Corey Good, he spilled the beans about a bunch of shit that was supposed to be confidential in one of his court cases, and then he got dragged into court for flapping his gums and talking about shit he wasn't supposed to talk about in public, right? Fake reviews. I'm shocked. Yeah, and just to so his latest film, released in 2025, The Corey Good Files, which, by the way, I got a copy of, and it is a laugh riot. It looks like a bad YouTube video made by somebody that just started making videos. And he bragged for years about how great the production was and all this stuff. But the latest film only got 33 reviews. So that's 33 people verifiably bought it. And, yeah, I don't... The Above Majestic, or what was the other film? One second. The other films that he did with David Wilcock got thousands of reviews. So that should inform us that nobody's buying his new shit. Nobody cares, right? Ha ha. Nobody cares. 2,100 people reviewed The Cosmic Secret with David Wilcock and Corey Good. So he went from 2,000 people buying it and reviewing it to 33 people buying it and reviewing it. Corey Good is down bad. He's broke, and he's going bald, and he's gay. Well, I don't know if he's gay. He's married, but he's definitely broke, and he's in bankruptcy court. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Fuck Corey Good. He's a piece of shit. There, I said it, right? How many people is he going to sue or threaten to sue? He's still threatening. He threatened me several times, but I think he was smart enough to know, like, I better not sue that guy, because if he gets to subpoena stuff from me, it won't go good for him, right? Stormcrow says, oh, no, he is totally gay. Yeah, he never learned his lesson. No, he didn't. He never did, and he never will. He never did, and he never will. This is my favorite video of Corey Good, by the way. This is him walking into court. Never mind, I made it all up. So I'm going to bounce on out of here. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'm doing a show tomorrow night. I might leave for the cabin a little early. I think my wife may take pity on me. All week, I've been trying to go get materials to use this weekend at the cabin build site. And, I only need an hour, but I feel like I'm on house arrest because my kids are always home sick or something. So Monday night, I took off from doing shows so that I could go to Home Depot or Lowe's and pick up the materials. And then My oldest son got ill, and my wife took him to the doctor, actually urgent care. But anyway, so I was here all night because that took 4 or 5 hours. So I was here all day, then here all night. I couldn't do it yesterday because he came home from school early sick, and I couldn't do it today because he was home all day. And I get done broadcasting. It's 9 o'clock. The store closes in 55 minutes, and I don't like to be rushed in there. Sometimes I'm just walking around looking at things, figuring stuff out. And I hate when they start that announcement like Home Depot will be closing in 43 minutes. Make your final sign. I hate that shit. I can't do that. So I don't know. I believe my son is home tomorrow as well. So, I'm getting a little frustrated. I said to my wife, people in prison are allowed outside for an hour a day. I'm not, apparently. And it's just scheduling. I'm busy with the kids all day. I'm doing the show at night. I just have no time to go do things like errands, right? What if it's not Corey's IP, but it's Wilcox P? Yeah, it could be, right? Corey's IP is just a couple of guys in a suit. That's right, the Gaia grift, right? You publishing those depositions melted his brain. Yeah. I say a polygraph machine, which I have. Ross Peterson says, you've got to stop referring to it as a lie detector. There's no such thing as a lie detector. There's only a polygraph, and it's basic junk science. It relies on the administrator. Well, Ross Peterson, I always say this to people. How much experience do you have with a polygraph? Because I've owned one for several years. I've did a lot of testing with it, and I believe that it can accurately detect deception. That's my belief. That's the belief of many people that have experience with polygraphs. Well, maybe I'll hook you up to it, right? Yeah, and I had an original concept which people would come on in person and then tell their story, and then I would polygraph them. But so far, I've only, in all this time, had one person sign up, and he's a total wackadoo, so I don't really feel very motivated to do it. Hugo Hercules says, get well soon. And by the way, most people don't say polygraph. Most people say lie detector test. It's just common vernacular. I don't think people are being disingenuous or dishonest, right? Who will be Thor in that? No, I can't, but he will. I don't know what that's about. Get your purchases and leave. I mean, if I want to be rushed, I hate being rushed because sometimes, Patty, I don't even know what I need to buy. I go to Home Depot to try to figure shit out, and I'm looking at L brackets and hinges and different screws and different things. Sometimes I just go to Home Depot to try to figure out part of the project. Like I got to figure out the roof. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't have a background in construction, but I just keep going, and eventually the roof will be there, right? Collie wants to be the banana sandwich between David and Corey. She doesn't understand they're both gay. There's a lot of rumors about that. I don't know if it's true, right? Sherry says, I hope your kids recover quickly. Best of luck to you and your family. Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate it. I appreciate that very much. So we've done our due diligence. I still can't believe this. An iconic film. This Bigfoot film has been in so many different documentaries. I grew up with it. It's in a bunch of books that I still have on Bigfoot. Every Bigfoot book that you will buy has a picture, at least a still image and a description of this incredible footage. And, most of me all these years thought it was a suit. The boobies kind of threw me a little bit off, though. And I would have liked to believe that it was a real creature, but I know better. I mean, what are the odds of an unknown ape in the Pacific Northwest just walking around and, some guy decides to make a Bigfoot documentary and on his first outing gets lucky and captures that incredible footage. Occam's razor applies. Usually the simplest explanation is the truth. And in this case, it was a guy in a suit. But congratulations to them. 60-year-long hoax. They made millions of dollars. And I really can't recommend this new documentary enough. I don't know when or if it will be out, but I'll keep you guys updated. So, that's all I got for you, friends. Until next time, my name is Stephen Cambion. Good night, and God bless all of you.
seekers coming for you. Truth seekers exposing the lies. Truth seekers, open your eyes. They lie again. Have you had your fill? Let go of lies. Take your second red pill. I know you've had your fill. It's time to take your second red pill. I know you've had your fill. It's time to take your second red pill. I know you've had your fill. It's time to take your second red pill. Truth seekers exposing the truth. Truth seekers coming for you. Truth seekers exposing the lies. Truth seekers, open your eyes. It's time to take your second red pill. I know you've had your fill. It's time to take your second red pill. Truth seekers exposing the truth. Truth seekers coming for you. Truth seekers exposing the lies. Truth seekers, open your eyes.